And the BJP today fielded Hardeep Singh Puri, Union Minister, and he joins me live today. Mr. Puri, in summary, how do you view that episode that happened on the steps of Parliament today?
My reaction, Arnab, is not that of a representative of the BJP or a cabinet minister. As a proud Sikh, someone who has been through the turmoil of 1984, I was deeply upset. And when I did the press conference today at the BJP headquarters, I pointed out that the choice of language by the honorable leader of opposition, the use of the word traitor, and he used this in English, where the meaning is that you commit treason against your nation, is deeply despicable. It is something that no one should use in a parliamentary discourse or in any discourse. Now, why does Mr. Gandhi choose to be so cavalier about it? Your program, I heard it in full volume. There are people sitting around Mr. Gandhi who are laughing, mocking Mr. Bittu. Have they forgotten the desecration of the Golden Temple in 1984? Have they forgotten the anti-Sikh riots? They were not riots, it was a pogrom against my community. 3,000 innocent people died. You know, we are only 1.6% or so of the country's population, and we comprise about 20% of the armed forces of the country. To name the Sikhs as traitors, and Mr. Bittu's own grandfather fell to an assassin's bullet. Now, I have never mixed religion and politics. I don't go to gurdwaras and speak, but I feel very strongly about this. I think Mr. Gandhi's conduct, and you cited several other instances, I can add another one. When Dr. Manmohan Singh was the Prime Minister, he passed an ordinance, rather the cabinet passed an ordinance, and Mr. Gandhi in a press conference tore that ordinance and threw it around. Now, apart from the winking, the hugging, today, I don't know whether what Mr. Bittu has said in his characterization of the state of his mind, whether he was intoxicated. I don't want to get into that because I don't know. But I can tell you, as somebody who was a civil servant for 39 years, 4 years of think tanking, and the 9th year as a minister, this is not the kind of language anyone should use. And Arnab ji, I'm not talking about the leader of opposition. No parliamentarian should use this language. Because what happens is, if it comes from the leader of opposition, many of us are then encouraged and feel incentivized to give it back in kind. Now, we have not had parliament functioning for 3 days. Today I was in the parliament, in the Lok Sabha at 5 o'clock, when we were expecting the Honorable Prime Minister to speak. And what happened? Lady members of the Congress came and blocked the entrance physically. Now, there is a way you can physically throw them out, but surely some modicum of basic decency, and the use of the word traitor is, in my language, neither anchored in decency, nor in dignity, nor the kind of discourse that anyone should use in Parliament. And I think it's a very sad day for the Congress. After having, taken what they got after the 84 desecration of the Golden Temple and the anti-Sikh riot, people call it a genocide. People call it a pogrom. Because riot means that two sides fight. Here, members of one community were just picked on in cold blood and killed. And today, they have forgotten that. I don't know what state of mind this was, but to use the word traitor, I think I was upset as a Sikh, even more than the fact that I was upset as a BJP karyakarta or as a union minister.
Well, when I met him in 2014, Mr. Puri, that's the only interview he's given. He stopped giving interviews after that. I asked him, did the Sikh riots take place? He said, absolutely. Were they completely wrong? He said, absolutely. I asked, were congressmen were involved? Then he asked me a question, did innocent people die? Absolutely. I asked him again, were congressmen involved? And then he said, some congressmen were involved. But he kept trying to say, I was not in action at that time. I was not in action at that time, as if not being in action. He was 15 years old then. As if not being in action was an alibi. So he has this issue with the Sikh community. He has a deep-seated bitterness which comes to the fore when dealing with respected members of the Sikh community, isn't it? I mean, I see a pattern building here. Especially the Congress Party's continued promotion of Jagdish Titler, its indirect endorsement of Sajjan Kumar. So there seems to be an animosity here, isn't it?
Arnab ji, I can tell you that I am entirely in agreement with you. Entirely in agreement with you on your characterization of his attitude towards the Sikhs. There is deep-rooted angst bordering on hatred. So that comes out. When you asked him the first questions in 2014, I must tell you, I am not trying to flatter you on your show, but that interview I will always remember. It was many years ago, I think it was in 2014. I remember I was not in the party then. And I remember when you asked him, so I had a more charitable explanation then, that here is a 15-year-old who was perhaps traumatized by the fact that he lost a member of his family. He was perhaps traumatized by that. But today he is no longer a 15-year-old.
7 years.
Today he is the leader of opposition and he is the effective repository of power in the party. I don't want to get into a discussion on Mr. Kharge's position as president. I don't want to get into that debate. But the fact is, nothing moves in that party unless Mr. Gandhi or his sister or Srimati Sonia ji, somebody authorizes it. So, but he has to get over that. If you hate the Sikhs so much that you will to refer to them as traitors, then you have a larger problem, because the community, this is, some members of the community may have forgotten the desecration of the Golden Temple in 84. But they will not forget the cold-blooded killings that took place. I mean, 3,000 people of my community were killed in cold blood. They are called riots. They are not riots. A riot, by definition, is a two-way process. When two communities fight. This was cold-blooded pogrom. This was genocide. People picked on members of a community. Some members of my community were thrown from a second-floor roof in Delhi. They were burnt, as one of my colleagues said, with tires around their neck. So it's a very, very traumatic past, and we are trying to live that down. And Mr. Gandhi, of all people, should have not forgotten those lessons. So today, to call somebody a traitor just because he doesn't like the Sikhs, or because this gentleman was a member of his party and left him for a mature, a more positive political career based on development elsewhere, you can't call some traitor. And then he says, you will come back. I mean, I don't understand. If he's a traitor, why do you want him to come back? And so I think there is much about Mr. Gandhi, including that famous press conference where he tore up an ordinance passed by a cabinet, which I do not understand. I think they need to redo their sums. But certainly with today's conduct, both in terms of this remark and what the Congress party has been saying subsequently. I've read statements by other Congress leaders. They are saying, no, Mr. Bittu deserves this characterization. And they're doubling in. So I don't think they've learned the lesson. And I hope a program like yours with your viewers, when they see what Supriya Srinathji is saying or what Raja Waring is saying and the others are saying, it's a very sad day. A very sad day for the Congress party. The Congress party is imploding. Nobody wants to be in alliance with them. Congress party is losing state after state. But you don't do this to an entire community. Because the community, the Sikhs are very much an integral part of India. They've given their lives. I talked about the 350th anniversary of the of Guru Tegh Bahadur, the 9th Guru. I talked about the 10th Guru, how the Sahibzadas gave their lives for the country. And you call somebody a traitor, which means he's committed treason just because he left you, just because he doesn't like your politics. I mean, there are so many other Sikhs in Punjab, including former chief ministers. You should talk to them in private and ask them what they think of this gentleman.
Well, you mentioned 1984. I was actually, just a small aside, Mr. Puri, when that interview happened, I kept looking at him. I couldn't believe here was a man who was refusing to have any memory of 1984. I have a memory of 1984 because I used to live in A block, Chandarnagar, Janakpuri, which, as you know, Janakpuri, that part, and Tilaknagar, the maximum killings of Sikhs took place. I saw houses burning. I saw tires put around Sikhs, so I felt very strongly about it. Even today, the kada I wear here was gifted to me by a Sikh friend who lived with us in that period in 1984. So I found it incredible that he behaved like that. My last question to you, Mr. Puri, is, and I'm glad that the government fielded you, and I understand you were speaking as a Sikh more than as a politician, but nevertheless, you know, is this all, are you giving him a long rope, you know? The thing is that today, physical confrontation stopping the Prime Minister from speaking, calling a member of parliament a traitor, and saying things like, hey, look there, look at his face, look at that man's face, that's what a traitor looks like. This casual conversation. Is there no punitive action, no legal steps, nothing that you would do beyond a complaint? Shouldn't you be doing something there? I mean, I don't know. Is Rahul Gandhi supposed to get away with everything?
Arnab ji, you ask a question which is absolutely relevant at this point. That can somebody make a statement like this and get away with it? My submission to you, Arnab ji, is that he will not get away with it. Because maybe insofar as the discipline of the House is concerned, they will take the defense that this was a statement made outside the House. They will say it is a statement made partially in jest, it partly out of friendship. They will give all kinds of excuses. But this statement has been heard by the Sikh community, not just in India, the Sikh community, the worldwide. Look, I've had the privilege of serving in London, in Tokyo, in Geneva, in New York, in Brazil. Sikhs everywhere are very particular about this kind of an insult. And he recently went to the United States and he was in a crowd of young Sikh people and he walked up to a young Sikh and said, in India you will not be allowed to wear a turban. I was incensed then. I mean, I wear a turban. Today I had other people with me in the press conference. I had Mr. Lovely, who has been elected 5 times, an MLA in Delhi. He was in the Congress party. I've had Manjinder Singh Sirsa ji sit on my right. He was in the Akali party. He had RP Singh. None of us have ever had a problem in wearing a turban. Who said that we can't wear a turban or can't wear a kada? You, my friend, are wearing a kada from your days in Janakpuri when you found these kinds of atrocities being committed against Sikhs. You are absolutely right. Janakpuri and Tilak Nagar were the places in Delhi where the worst atrocities were committed. So, thank you for doing this program. I am here as an anguished Sikh, and I'm sure not only the Sikh community in Delhi but elsewhere will give a befitting reply because one is deserved. Will he course correct? I really don't know.
I don't think so.
This takes you back to the basic question about what Mr. Bittu said. I don't know. I mean, how can anybody in their conscience make a statement like this, then hope to get away? The judgment will come from the Janta, from the community, and from our Indian citizens, not just the Sikhs. I have a lot of my Hindu friends, my Christian Parsi friends, they're calling, ringing me and saying, hey, I saw this. What's happened to him? And then they're speculating. And one of them said he's pure nuts. That's all.
Well, I mean, yeah, possibly. Even that could be an understatement. But Hardeep Puri, I thank you for putting your views so passionately on the program today. So passionately. And we saw the press conference, and I think we are proud of the way you're putting things.
Thank you
very much, Mr. Puri. Thank you very much. That's why I'm so proud to always say that Hardeep Puri is my many years senior from Hindu College, ladies and gentlemen. And that's another reason I hold him in such regard, besides other things. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you.